Hey guys, this is Jason from Premier Aviation HD, and I promised you guys I'd do a real short video on some of the things you might need to get started on your private pilot or your aviation career. This is just a few of the items, that you may need. I'm going to go through just the basics. Of course, do your own research, and of course, whatever flight school or flight instructor you're speaking with or working with, go with their recommendations. But this is just kind of give you an idea of what you can expect. Probably the first thing you'd want to do is to go and get a medical exam, FAA certified medical exam. There's a first class, that's for commercial pilots. There's the second class, that's for charter pilots and things of that nature. Third class is for student pilot and private pilot. So that's the one that you'd want to do probably. I mean, if you want to go a little bit higher or a little bit farther to commercial, if you're healthy enough, hey, go for the first class. But I got this card for this particular FAA certified doctor from my flight school, so I would assume that your flight school would have recommendations. They do have the information of which doctors you can go to at the FAA website as well. Flight training is not cheap. It can range from $85 an hour to $150 an hour for the plane, and that's not including your flight time, travel time, all that stuff. So, average lesson $250 would be the top end, maybe $150 the bottom end. Depending on your flight school, they may have a program where you can get a discount, but there are some different financing options available. This is one that is available for all flight schools, I believe. It's called Pilot Finance Incorporated. They have a number of different, a number of different payment options where you can do one lesson a week, 2 a week, 3 a week, 4 a week. It gives you an idea of the cost. I'm averaging, I think the cost for my private license is going to be in the neighborhood of about $7,000 roughly to get your IFR, maybe another 5 to 7, but it just depends. Maybe you can work out something with your flight school or with your instructor where you can do it for a much cheaper or more economical rate. Anyway, that's just a few of the things you might think about before you get started. The cost factor, the medical factor. So if you have any medical conditions that preclude you from being a pilot, find out as quickly as you can, and don't spend a bunch of money on your training before you do this. The next thing I would say is, depending on what curriculum your flight school is using, in my case they're using GLIME or GLEAM, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. You're going to need a lot of ground school work. Basically, that's just you studying to be ready to fly. The books that I purchased, I didn't purchase through my flight school. I actually went on eBay. You can get some really good deals if you buy used. There are people that just give up or just decide not to do it anymore. Just a few of the ones that I got that are required, at least for the program that I'm in. Private pilot and recreational pilot FAA knowledge test. That's to get you ready for your testing. Private flight maneuvers. So that's what you're working on when you go up on your training flights. Pilot handbook, basically education on what you're doing and why you're doing it. Private pilot syllabus. This is basically a guide for what each lesson will entail and what you're going to accomplish in each one. And then the package that I bought was actually from a gentleman in Hawaii, and he had a couple of other things that he had included. Commercial pilot FAA written exam, I guess he was going for commercial, and an IFR flight file, which is when I get into instrument flying, I'll definitely have to use that. They have iPad apps that actually do what this does, but hey, if you want to learn the old school way, I guess that's a good way to go. All of these books, everything, I got all of this for about $55. Now, It looks like a lot of material, and it is. I mean, it weighs, it's a decent amount of material there to go through. Plan on spending about 5 hours of study time per week. If you're flying for 2 hours, plan on spending at least an hour and a half per hour of flight time. 3 to 5 hours, I think, would be a good estimate. And I'm gonna show you guys some other resources that I've been able to come across that are actually cut some of that cost out. But I'm going to do another video about ground school stuff later. Okay, so that's some of the books that you need. Again, there are other things that you need. Talk with your instructor or your flight school to find out specifically. That's just a portion, and that's a lot of the core curriculum that I'm currently working with. Now, with regards to equipment, one thing you're going to want to get is a knee board. I don't know if you can see this against the black background. I'm sorry, I don't have the... but it's basically a trifold, kind of like a notebook. And yeah, the black background's not helping, guys. I'm sorry, I'm kind of doing this in a hurry. But anyway, the knee board has places for you to put your plotter. This one had kind of a little flip spot for you to put notes and charts and things of that nature. Place to put a pencil, a pen. I keep my logbook right here, which I'll show you that here in a second. A notepad. If you're doing your your ATC communications with the flight controller, this is where I write down, like when I'm doing my ATIS weather check, I write down the information. What the frequencies are, what the information was. We got information Yankee the other day. This is the winds and the cloud ceiling, and this is the barometric pressure. Just write it down. That way, if you need to repeat it back, you can do that. So that was recommended to me by my instructor. I think it's a great idea. The actual knee board itself is basically a tablet that has good information for you to have while you're flying. UTC time conversion or Zulu time, the phonetic alphabet, VFR ceiling. This is obviously a VFR knee board. There's IFR knee boards, which I will get into that later when I do instrument flying. But just a lot of good reference material. FAA flight plan format on there, so when you're doing your flight planning, this is a lot of this is what you have to actually fill out and call into them. So good, good stuff to have, and it's nice. The way this, I guess all knee boards would work is it actually straps to your knee. That's why they call it a knee board. It has little straps, elastic straps on it that you can, I'll see if I can show it to you. There's the elastic straps, and they strap onto your knee. So that way, you can have access to it while you're flying. Okay, so that's one thing you might want to check out, or you'll definitely need a plotter when you're plotting your flight plan. This is the CP1. There's different types. This is a standard plotter, so this will be the one I'll be using. A flight computer, the E6B. This is an ASA. Oh, I guess I should say the knee board was an ASA knee board. The ASA flight computer. So when haven't gotten into that yet, so I'm kind of excited about that. A flashlight. So the one I got here is actually red. The batteries are dead. I need to replace those. I haven't used it yet, but when the batteries are good, it's a red light, which is nice, so it doesn't interfere with your night vision if you're doing a night flight. So that's pretty cool. Some type of a tool. The classic Leatherman tool is a good thing to have. I'm not sure if it's required, but it's definitely something you should probably have in your flight bag if you need to do anything. I was talking earlier about my logbook, and everything's black, so it's been blending in with my table. I'm sorry. Standard logbook. I purchased this on eBay. All of this I've gotten on eBay for the most part because I'm trying to save money. So the logbook, I'll just kind of show you. I haven't filled this part out, and it doesn't really matter yet. I don't have my student pilot certificate yet, but here are the flights that I have been on so far. There's the date, the type of airplane, the tail number. the airport in and out, and then this is the amount of time. Aircraft category, you basically copy these columns over. Type of piloting time, I was with an instructor. Duration of the flight, conditions of the flight, and then here's the notes from the instructor, basically telling you what you did on each flight. You're required to have a logbook that adds up to the number of hours that you need for whatever type of certification you're going for, signed by the instructor. So this is basically your documentation that you completed your training. So that's a logbook. All of this equipment here, I spent, I think, $52 for the equipment and about $55 for the books. So about $100. All this was used, well, except for the logbook, but it's all in brand new condition. So you can really save yourself a lot of money if you just do a little bit of shopping around. My flight bag was also used, and like I said, everything's black. It's a Jeppesen flight bag. There's a number of different brands out there, so it's really nice. It has, pockets. I've got my sunglasses in one usually. I got my iPad headphones, or I'm sorry, iPod headphones in one side usually. Some camera gear when I'm doing any type of in-cockpit filming. But that's the flight bag, and that came with what I got there. So anyway, hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of some of the things you're going to need to get started. Now, again, this is not meant to be a comprehensive list. This is not meant to be a one-size-fits-all. Like, there's different pilot training curriculums. So your flight school may have something different. There's different types of computers. There's different types of logbooks. There's different types of knee boards. There's different types of just about everything that I've gone over here with you. But this is a general idea, and if you're thinking, hey, it's going to be cost prohibitive for me to buy all of this stuff, no. I spent $100, maybe max $150 for all of this, and I'm trying to spend as much money as I can getting into the air as opposed to spending it on the things that I'm going to be using on the ground. Now, I am going to be getting a headset. It's not going to be quite as nice as Josh's over at Mr. Aviation 101. He's got the Lightspeed. It'll basically walk your dog for you. But I don't have the collateral or the sufficient funds with raising 2 children to be able to do that at the moment. Eventually, that would be nice. But I am going to do a review on the headset that I get. I would assume that your flight school would be able to rent you one if you can't afford one. But you can get all of those different things used as well. One other thing I would say, get yourself a nice notebook, because your instructor is going to like it if you're taking notes when he's talking to you. I just went to Office Depot, got myself a little binder folder. I'm thinking about my knee board. Just a basic folder, put some notebook paper in there. You can print out a lot of FAA reference material to put in there if you'd like. And if we can zoom in on this here, I wrote a couple of these things down. You can get this at the FAA website. FAA, so Foxtrot Alpha Alpha dash Sierra dash 8081 dash 14 Alpha Sierra private pilot PTS. Download that. Keep that in your notebook. A couple of other things you might get, maybe a gas sump jar. I don't have one. I actually ordered one, so I will show you what that looks like when I get it. It's called the GATS jar. G as in golf, A alpha, T tango, S Sierra. GATS jar. If you can't read my writing, it's about $20 online, don't have to spend a lot of money. Don't have to buy the best of everything. If you can afford it, by all means do so. But you can get started at a relatively affordable price and spend the bulk of your money if you're doing the way I'm doing it on just getting yourself in the air. And if you can work something out with your flight school to maybe get a discounted rate or whatever you can do, the whole point of this video is just to to let you know that anybody can do it on pretty much any budget as long as you think and plan ahead just a little bit and maybe do a little bit more shopping around than the average Joe. So, anyway, guys, the next video will be, I'm going to do a couple of reviews on some applications and some additional ground school stuff that you can use, like different websites, totally free of charge, actually. And our first flight episode comes out next week, so be sure to check back, subscribe, youtube.com, Premier Aviation HD, and stay tuned for flight episodes every Wednesday, every week. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.